Welcome to the first episode of new podcast. All my friends are dead. Not literally, but yeah. So this is a podcast with myself. My name's Geoff. My good friend Ross.
Hello.
This is a podcast about getting older, basically, nearing death.
In your 30s.
In our 30s.
Yeah.
So that we thought it'd be interesting to kind of run through a different subject each episode and how our relationship with that subject has changed between when we were wee nippers of 20
21, yeah.
to old grizzled men in our mid-30s.
Yeah, it's 32 is mid-30s.
Yeah, well, you're probably early 30s. I'm well into my mid-30s. I'm 36 now.
Are you? I was telling people that my friend Geoff was 35.
Really?
So
to 36 is like over the tipping point, because I've noticed a lot of those online forums, when you have to select your age, it goes 20 something to 35,
right?
Then you tip over 36, and then it's like 36 to 100.
It's different.
You're just gone.
Questionnaire surveys and like holiday destinations.
Yeah, I'm in a new insurance bracket because they're just like your body gets written off at 36. So
okay,
yeah.
Like Geoff said, basically how it's weird to describe because we're going to have slightly different experiences. Because if you think about it in school years, and a lot of people I know still think about things in school years, is when Geoff was at school, I was or upper school. I was starting upper school, and you were finishing upper school.
Yeah,
so that's still a very different experience.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover like music, TV and film.
Yeah. Socialising.
Yep, definitely socialising or lack of socialising.
Yeah. The internets.
Yeah, the internets. We won't follow that under technologies, but internets. Geoff is infinitely more prepared than I am, so yeah, let's get into it. So the first episode we're going to do is music.
Yeah. We're both music fans, right?
I
You're going to just say no?
Yeah, no.
End of episode.
I barely listen to anything anymore.
Really?
I just don't. I find it really hard to get into new music.
Yeah.
I find it sort of. There's always a hint of sadness to albums I listen to. Because what I do is I go back and I'm like, oh yeah, and it's like a Throwback Thursday playlist on Spotify, and I'm like, I remember this song, and then I remember I was 21 when I heard that song, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm 32.
Is this more because you listen to emo music, which is inherently
sad and
mopey,
melancholy?
No, you listen to a lot of it. You listen to all sorts, right? You listen to
yeah. Quite eclectic, I suppose. Anything from like sort of Scandinavian black metal right through to Scandinavian pop. I'm deeply rooted in Scandinavian culture, apparently.
Just anything Scandinavian.
Yeah, they tend to be the best songwriters, though. Surely, if you use Eurovision as a barometer.
Yeah, they're usually up there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's. We'd listen to guitar music, bit of hip hop maybe if we get the chance.
The hippity hops,
hippity hop, bit of anything really. But yeah, I think like you say, as you get older, you have less and less time. But
yeah, well, it's not time. I could definitely invest more time in music.
Right.
Because I sit at a desk all day. I don't have to answer a phone call. I don't even have to talk to anybody if I don't want to. Yeah, because all of my work revolves around Excel spreadsheets, which is obviously what I dreamt of doing when I was in my 20s.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love macros. they're my favourite.
I love a good macro.
A good pivot table.
Yeah,
strong pivot table. Yeah.
A H lookup. The
H lookup.
A H lookup.
What's a H lookup?
That's
I only know a V lookup.
No, it's for more kind of exotic lookup. I'll tell you about that later. Anyway, we're going to
Latin lookup.
Let's chat about music and getting old. So we thought a good place to start. We'll start at the start. Is talk about what the first album we ever bought with our own cash. Because that's probably a good idea.
I used to get
you a good impression.
Yeah, I used to get my own cash via chores around the house, like probably most people did. But are you saying the first album you remember in your 20s, or the first album in...
No, just first album you've bought ever. Or do you remember that far back? Those heady days?
It's one of two.
Okay.
And it is either Blur, The Great Escape.
Yeah, okay.
Because Blur were everywhere when I was a teenager.
Yeah, Britpop and grunge.
Yeah,
we both would have
90,
sailed through.
95 to like 98 was like the peak of Britpop.
Yes.
And you had the Oasis versus Blur.
Blur versus Oasis.
Yeah. And looking back at it, I think Blur might have been better.
Yeah. Do you know what? At the time, I would have been Blur.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember having a lot of Blur albums. I maybe had a couple, but I just wasn't into Oasis.
Yeah.
I think they were a bit too laddie.
Bit too.
But as I got older, do you know what? Cigarettes and alcohol or something like that. If that comes on the radio, I'm more into a bit of Oasis nowadays.
I think Oasis are probably more anthemic.
Yeah.
More anthems.
You just want to tune as you get older.
Yeah.
You haven't got the attention span for all that difficult music.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want Damon Albarn to be smart. I want Liam Gallagher to be moaning about something.
Just sing about some cigarettes and make it sound a bit like T-Rex.
And
that's what I want.
Champagne star formations.
Yeah, you sorted. So it's either Blur
or Cooler Shaker K.
Cooler Shaker.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I used to like Cooler Shaker.
I think it was like so from like when I was 14, 15 or maybe earlier. I was staying up later and I had my own TV in my house.
Okay.
So I was in my own TV in my house, in my bedroom. So I was sent to bed, but I definitely put my TV like on really low.
Okay.
And just try not to move in my bed and make any noise so my parents didn't know. But I was definitely like listening to or watching like Nevermind the Buzzcocks I vaguely remember, was it The Tube with Terry Christian?
The Tube, yeah.
Yeah.
The Word, maybe, as well.
Oh, The Word.
The Word, was that the one?
Yeah, no, it was The Word. The Tube was John Peel, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tube was a bit later. A bit
earlier.
Earlier, sorry.
So yeah, and both sort of guitar-led bands. Cooler Shaker, I don't think I'd ever heard anything quite like it, because they had stuff... They had loads of like Eastern influences, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Lots of sitar and things. I don't know whether they were like Buddhist or Muslim.
I think they were
they were very deeply rooted in that culture, though.
They were like posh kids who went travelling, didn't they? They went travelling for a weekend.
Sold their dad's BMW without him knowing, and pissed off to Goa.
They went Goa, Thailand, and came back, bought a sitar, and formed a band.
Yeah, basically, and then rocked out on a bus. But I just remember like he had like Crispin Mills. It was his name.
Crispin.
Yeah. Which is a cool name because all of my mates were like John and Lewis and Michael and I'm like, I've never heard anybody like this. We had a guy called Colin at our school.
Colin,
that's not nearly as interesting as Crispin Mills.
No, similar. I was like, Crispin is quite, and Damon as well. Because Blur were quite posh, weren't they? If Noel and Liam were kind of the commoners,
Northerners,
the Northerners, Blur were quite posh.
Yeah. I always thought... I remember people making a big deal about Damon Albarn once being homeless, or a couple of Blur being homeless.
No, really?
Yeah, I'm sure that was a thing, like when Parklife came out, because Parklife was first, right? And Great Escape was after?
Parklife, Modern Life, I don't know the order of those. I've never had those earlier ones, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that was the case, and I was like, that's interesting. He was a homeless guy, and in my head, I don't make the relationship between was homeless, not homeless, started a band, in a band.
Okay.
I made the relationship, my relationship was Damon Albarn was homeless, and someone from Interscope or EMI or whatever walked past him, and he was and he was just playing this Charmless Man, or Charmless Man? Charmless Man.
Charmless Man,
Yeah, not this Charmless Man.
This charm.
But yeah, I think those two, what were yours?
So first album that I remember buying with my own cash money was Blue Album by Weezer.
Oh.
So it's the American influence. Because obviously Britpop was huge at the time. I worked out, I looked up, Weezer Blue Album was 1994. So it would have been 13. So maybe a little bit earlier, obviously, than yourself.
Yeah.
But I think at the time you had the Britpop on our side of the pond, but it was grunge and stuff going on the other side of the pond. Yeah. So Weezer weren't a grunge band per se, were they?
No, they were like the first... When people talk to me about emo, like you were saying earlier, I don't see like My Chemical Romance.
No.
I see Weezer.
Yeah.
And like
the second album especially, wasn't
bands
it?
like that. So I think that's probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would have been young. I mean, in 1994, I was 13, and I don't think I would have had a job at that point. I never did the whole paper round, all that kind of thing. But interestingly, 10th of May 1994, that's when it was released, just after my birthday. So I think I would have been down to Woolworths with my birthday.
Or Our Price.
Yeah.
Which is the top of the
Probably,
street.
I mean, we're recording this, we both live in Northampton. At the time, Spinner Disc, the kind of cool indie shop, was still there.
Yeah.
So I like to think I would have gone down to Spinner Disc with my hard-earned birthday.
Hard-earned birthday money, well done for surviving another year.
Have another year, have a tenner. But yeah, that blew out, and it's still one of my favourite albums. I just fell in love with that album off the back of that Buddy Holly single.
Is that what's on there? I was about to say what's on there. Buddy
that's
Holly
the
and
Big Song and Sweater's Song.
Oh yeah, everyone knows that. The dogs in the video.
That's right. Yeah. So some of those early songs, but it was a video which really sold it to me as well. I think because MTV was a thing still back.
It was playing music videos.
It was music videos. Nowadays, I mean, I haven't watched MTV in years because it was like reality shows and Geordie Shore and all of that kind of thing. But back in the day, it was just wall to wall tunes, with awesome videos because bands were still making money, so they could still put money into making decent music videos.
The later you stayed up, the weirder it got as well. It's like Headbangers Ball.
That's right, and 120 Minutes was late on MTV, which was kind of...
I don't remember what that was.
All really alternative. That's when you saw really interesting stuff.
Was that Zane Lowe?
Zane Lowe presented, I think, something similar.
Did he do? He did MTV too, didn't he?
MTV2, yeah. So that kind of took on 120 Minutes or something along those lines.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, Weezer Blue album, and I was obsessed from the start. That was, probably
on tape.
It would have been on CD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been on CD.
I remember buying singles before I bought albums. I definitely bought singles on tape.
Yeah.
I had Pat O'Banton, Baby Come Back.
Okay.
Featuring UB40.
Nice.
I had Zig and Zag. Both Zig and Zag singles.
Wow.
Turn On Your Landing Light, which was kind of like Cotton Eye Joe.
Okay.
And
don't know
that one. And then what was the first one? Them Girls. And it was
Zig and Zag. Yeah.
And it was very that because one of them had like a sort of a West Indian accent. I can't tell you which one was Zig and which one was Zag.
No.
But actually no, I reckon I could. I reckon Zig was the yellow one, and I reckon Zag was the red one with the greens. I think he had green spots.
Okay.
And he was the one who had a more sort of Jamaican patois about his lyrics.
I think it's like Ant and Dec. No one knows for sure which one's which.
Like Ant and
could,
Dec.
Could be either or. Zig and Zag. Yeah. Yeah.
But first albums. I don't know whether you can always say that they're the things that like form your musical like adventure. Because I mean, if you pick like a rubbish first album, do you inevitably then always listen to rubbish? Do you think you can redeem?
Yeah, I think you can. Because I think the idea of like your formative years I found quite interesting. So if you think of something. For me, that kind of feels like your mid-teens through to maybe early to mid-20s.
Okay.
That's when you're kind of going out on your own a bit more, you're soaking in the world and kind of becoming the person you're eventually going to be. But your tastes are constantly evolving, aren't they? So you might start off with like a shocker of an album or a single.
Yeah.
I mean, my first ever single was on 7-inch, just to show my age.
Oh, really?
That was the Paul McCartney one, the Frog Chorus. Which was...
Did we listen to this the other week? Because I didn't know what you were talking about.
I think I showed you this the other week. It was off of Rupert the Bear. Film? I want to say film or cartoon.
Well, like a TV film.
Yeah, it was Paul McCartney. It was like... I prefer that song to anything the Beatles ever did, do you know what I mean? It's a fantastic song.
Paul McCartney's my favourite Beatle, and it's because of non-Beatles related things. It's because he wrote Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
Anybody who wrote Live and Let Die...
Yeah.
Immediately.
And the Frog Chorus.
And the Frog yeah. And by proxy, the Frog Chorus. Well, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best songs of all time,
right? Yeah. The Beatles were pretty good.
Apparently they were pretty good.
They were quite critically acclaimed.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to like them. It was very weird.
I think you can kind of redeem yourself from an awful first album, first single, maybe even first gig. Do you remember the first gig you ever went to?
Nice segue. Because
Nice
we've
segue.
got that written down.
Yeah. Do you see how smooth?
Jeff's a professional.
See how smooth that was?
He really is. He's got lots of notes as well. My first gig. What are we saying? Are we saying like my first cool gig or my first gig?
Just the first.
My first
gig.
live music experience was at
Yeah.
the NEC and it was Spice Girls.
Was it really?
Yeah.
You went to see Spice Girls?
I fucking did and it was great.
I'm quite jealous.
I remember it being really, really good. And I
Yeah.
definitely remember I didn't get out of my seat.
Okay.
Right. Everybody around me, like my mum and my dad and my
Yeah,
sister, right? So mum, dad to the left of me, sister on the right,
Okay.
or the other way, whichever.
Yeah.
And they came out, and everybody was out of their seats and dancing in the aisles and stuff like this. And I was just rooted to my seat because, like, the scale of it, like, I'd never seen anything like that. I've been to the Panto, but like, and the Panto's massive. It looks massive when you're a kid.
Yeah, of course.
But like, yeah, this was just huge, and we were quite close. I think I would say we were like 35 people back.
Okay.
35 rows.
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah. And how old would you have been here, roughly?
Oh God.
Spice Girls?
When was 97?
Really?
I want to say 97 because
Okay.
because we used to go on holiday every year to Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
And in 1996, my sister got an England kit,
Okay.
right? The away England kit, and everybody got carried away with,
Yeah.
Badil and Skinner and the Lion
Okay.
Seeds and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And have I got ink on my neck? I can't.
That's a tattoo.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so, and there was a talent show for the kids at like the fun club thing that they have on these like caravan
right.
parks, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And two girls sang "Wannabe," so it was 96 and 97.
Sure.
One of those two.
Okay. So how old's that?
I would have been 11 or 12.
That's young. Yeah,
11
that's
or
young.
12.
That's young for a
11 or
first.
12 years. Yeah.
And that's a vast, like you say, a vast venue for a first. That's quite overwhelming for.
It was very intimidating.
for a young'un.
But I'd been to the NEC before though because I went to see Gladiators.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So I was prepared for the amount of people.
Yeah.
Just not the performance.
Yes.
Blew me away.
Yeah, I bet they were stirring up some feelings for a young Ross seeing. The
This
five
is
Spice
true
Girls.
because I don't know what the song was, but they used to perform it like I'm using air quotes.
Okay.
Nude. They used to do a song nude.
Right. Oh right.
And
Yeah.
So you know when you sit with the back of a chair at the front of you.
Yes.
It was one of them like curvy office chairs
Okay.
type
Like a
jobs.
burlesque kind of.
Ish, yeah. And they sang on it, and I remember 11 or 12-year-old Ross going, "Are they nude? Like, are they legit nude?" And I was like, "Yeah." So it would have stirred some feelings.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You were trying to break free from the pack and run forward.
Yeah.
have a little
Climbing
bit.
over people.
Yeah,
It looked like a Black Flag gig after that because I was just trying to hoof people out of the way, and
Early mosh pit.
probably would have been. I think I probably would have ran towards Ginger Spice.
Yeah, I think so.
I think most people did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Well, not
Did
quite.
it involve boobs?
It wasn't quite as exciting as as that one, but it was a cool. I suppose it was a cool gig actually. It wasn't like a huge gig, but it was at our local kind of venue, Roadmender. And it was Ian Brown. So it wasn't
The missing link between ape and man.
Monkey Man,
Ian Brown.
Monkey Man. And I was surprised about this because I know Ian Brown was my first gig, but I had it in my head I was a lot younger than I was. This was in 2000, so I would have been
How have you done this research?
Well, I've got my old tickets, of course.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay.
Back when tickets were actually paper things rather than just a little barcode on your phone like you get now. I've got a little box full of all of my old gig tickets.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I dug through and it was 2000. I would have been 19, and I had it in my head I was a lot younger than that to see.
That seems quite late.
Yeah.
To not even go to like a local show, like at
That's
the racehorse
right.
or something. Because I mean, you were definitely drinking at 15.
Sure.
Yeah.
At least.
So it seems weird to have not been in the race.
Yeah,
course.
I don't remember seeing any gigs earlier than that. I've always got it in my head Ian Brown was the first. Maybe it was the first like big show, like as in outside of a pub. But definitely the first.
Huh.
But I mean, I've got good memories of it. It was kind of an amazing thing because Ian Brown's properly famous, right?
He is.
And to see...
He's very popular.
Yeah. And I was kind of obsessed with Stone Roses and Ian Brown a lot more than I am nowadays.
Okay.
Back when I was younger. But it was kind of blowing my mind. As a big music fan, never really seeing any musicians in the flesh like that.
Yeah.
But to rock up at the Roadmender, which is quite a small capacity, isn't it? What is that, like 1,000?
Were you in the big room?
Yeah, it would have been big room. 1,500 maybe?
Yeah, maybe,
push,
yeah. I think that's
if
probably
you cram them in.
Yeah.
But suddenly to have Ian Brown walk out all backlit,
Yeah.
you know, like a messiah.
Yeah.
And he's standing like 10 feet away from you. It was kind of quite overwhelming for young Geoff. I mean...
That happened to me when I watched Deftones at the Roadmender.
Yeah, but I was there, right?
Yeah, I was, I think I was 14 or 15.
Okay.
When I discovered Deftones. When I discovered, like, metal.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
And it farted. It started.
Well, the sound on that gig did sound a bit like a fart.
Yeah.
I remember it was quite.
It started with Limp Bizkit.
Okay. That's unfortunate.
Nah, it's not. I think most people like me.
Yeah.
Or like you, whatever. Kind of liked Limp Bizkit.
I've got a soft spot for Limp Bizkit
because it was like party rock, wasn't it?
It was big. And kind of crazy rock, wasn't it? After a few beers.
Stupid party rock.
Yeah. Everyone had a smile on their face when it came on.
Yeah. I think it was like Break Stuff, maybe.
Yes.
Or maybe even Rolling.
Okay.
Like the album after.
Yeah.
One of those two.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're quite good.
Yeah. Sure.
So I bought that album.
Yeah.
And then Linkin Park came out, and then I bought that album.
Okay.
Okay. And then I remember buying a Deftones album because all of these like Grebos who used to hang around at the top of Abington Street.
Yeah.
A couple of them were wearing Deftones hoodies.
Okay.
And I wanted to be one of them. I wanted to fit in. You know what I mean? I didn't have any Grebo mates at school.
Okay.
None. Like it was
Really?
literally, it was just like what people call like now chavs. We used to call them HMV kids.
Oh, okay. Right.
Because they used to just hang around HMV, like all the rude boys and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And so I didn't have. That was mostly what my school was full of. And I wanted to be friends with the Grebos.
Yeah.
And I saw that they had a Deftones hoodie, so I was like, they're probably pretty good. Bought it for like £19 on Spinner Disc, because Spinner Disc, whilst it was cool, it was super expensive.
Yeah, sometimes it was. Yeah. It was like it wasn't like a little indie where you go and pick up loads of little bargains. It was quite pricey.
Yeah.
And
that's
a lot of birthday money. £19.
It is a lot of birthday money. Yeah. I had a washing up gig at a restaurant.
Oh, okay. Well.
And I worked in the parts department of a motorcycle shop as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pre-16. Is it?
Yeah, 15, 16.
15, okay.
Yeah. And then started working at Safeway and
whatever. Yeah.
But, Roadmender was good. I liked the Roadmender. I don't know, does it have gigs now? It seems to be like it gets the reunion gigs now.
Yeah. There's still gigs, going on, not nearly as much. It's more club nights, isn't it, nowadays?
Yeah.
So we had two venues in Northampton, so the Soundhouse and the Roadmender.
Yeah.
And the Roadmender kind of went under at one point, didn't it? And it must have been around the time Soundhouse went as well. So
the same guy owned them.
Yeah,
I think
we didn't have anything for a while. But at one point, the Roadmender was big because a lot of bands who were coming around the country on tour, it was a nice stop-off point between, like, say, London and Birmingham or Leicester. It was kind of on the way, and it was a mid-sized venue. A lot of bands who were probably too big to play there. Because I remember Supergrass coming there at kind of peak of their kind of thing.
Yeah.
They played a warm-up gig there, basically. Just treated it like a warm-up gig, practice gig between bigger things, you know. But which were all kinds of bands there back in the day.
Early 90s, fun fact for you, Rage Against the Machine played at the Roadmender.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
And Fear Factory.
And Fear Factory.
No one really cares about Fear Factory. No. Rage Against the Machine's quite cool.
Yeah, that's a big band.
That's a massive band.
Yeah. for Roadmender, I didn't know that.
Pretty sure this is true. And I think Tool were their support.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. And it was off whatever album Know Your Enemy's on.
Okay.
Because Maynard's on that song.
Right.
He does the spoken bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
so some big names have played there through the years, haven't they?
It's true.
We had Snow Patrol. Snow Patrol were there. they were
No
good.
Black Alps.
Yeah, No Black Alps.
The Twang.
The Twang were there. Arthur Lee from Love played, which was quite exciting.
Who? What?
Arthur Lee from Love has got quite a big kind
know
of
what that is.
folky rock band from
Oh,
the
okay. Right.
60s ago. But yeah, no, it's nice to have a local venue, obviously, because it's good for the town. It is. It's good to have a band come onto your doorstep. Nowadays, not so much, is it? Johnny Marr played there last year. Which
Did
was
he?
Wicked, yeah. That was really
I
cool.
presume you went.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I was there. I was there.
Front and centre.
I think Morrissey's going to be playing there. No, he's not. But
Imagine.
that'd be good.
You'd lose your mind.
That'd be good. You could come and stay around mine. That'd be okay.
I don't. Segue.
Yeah.
I don't tend to keep up with new music. You didn't see it coming. Didn't see it coming. Yeah, I don't keep up. I don't know how I really keep up to date with new music. Anyway, I kind of get like I've got Spotify.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think most people kind of have, maybe.
Yeah.
Or like a version of
something along those lines.
Apple Music,
Yeah.
or what's the one that Jay-Z has?
Tidal.
Yeah.
Even YouTube. Just you can find most music.
People
on
make
YouTube.
playlists.
Yeah,
so that's what's handy.
which is good.
And you have related videos and stuff.
That's right.
Don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tend to only keep up with music if I'm really looking
Okay.
through like my Discover playlist.
Right.
So whatever I've been rocking on my Spotify,
Yeah.
which is like I said, mid 2000s
Okay.
throwback
Yes.
albums,
Playlists.
like Taking Back Sunday on repeat. They usually have something in the Discover playlist that is linked to that.
Yeah.
And I always kind of look, and some of them are like bands I've heard of, but I never really like gave it much attention. But before, but yeah, I think most of the way I listen to new music now is Spotify if I can be bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really hard for me to engage with new music because I'm not going through the same things as I was in the 20s.
That's right. Yeah,
Which is weird.
You're kind of out of it a little bit. So the thing is, music's a much bigger part of it. It's a much bigger part of my life when I was going through my 20s. Just because you had more time for it, you were going out, you were seeing gigs, you were going to club nights, and all of your mates were in the same place as you, so you were kind of recommending bands to each other, and you were kind of talking about
someone turned up with a new band shirt.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell are they?
Those guys.
Yeah.
You might have even made your mate a little compilation album or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
On cassette, you know.
Cassette. On CDR.
But I think nowadays, like say, life it kind of takes over, doesn't it? And you work in your 9 to 5, and you're coming back and you're exhausted, and you're maintaining a house and whatever you've got going on. You just haven't got. For me, it's just not having as much kind of time for it.
I don't see a lot of bands either anymore, like live.
No.
I don't.
No.
And so because we went to Interpol 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
A couple of 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it was like the 15-year anniversary of Turn on the Bright Lights.
Yes.
Which is brilliant.
Yes.
And the gig was brilliant.
It was.
And it was like 9,000 people in Ali Pali.
Yes.
9,000? It was big.
Is it? It was a big venue, yeah.
It's a big venue.
Yeah.
And then before that, I went to see Blink-182.
Okay.
And it was just like a greatest hits gig,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then before that, I think... I don't remember. I don't remember anything before that. But it tends to be now, for some reason. I mean, I don't know if it's because of my age or I can't... I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'll say it. I can't be bothered.
No. I kind of get what you mean. Your energy level isn't there to go out and see gigs at local venues or even at Roadmender. There's bands that pass you by just because you're thinking, I
haven't heard them.
I just can't.
I can't be bothered to try and listen to them.
And
that's kind of sad, I suppose.
And it's weird because, like you say, you've got Spotify, you've got iTunes, whatever it is. You've got YouTube. You've got the internet, haven't you? Yeah. It's easier to find music than ever. So and it takes less effort now as well.
Also, you can see like a live performance on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if they're rubbish live, I'm not really going to be that bothered. Yeah. Another thing for me, if we wanted to like sort of dig at it, is I played in 2 bands, and we did a lot of live gigs. Your brother was in one of those bands.
Yes, that's right.
Playing the same 4x4x4x4 drum patterns that he always did. He wasn't a flamboyant drummer.
No, he was a powerhouse of a drummer.
He was. He got some arms by the end of it.
Yeah,
he did.
He was hench.
Yeah. So we played with a lot of bands, and then I was in another band called Crows.
Yeah.
And we played with a lot of bands, and a lot of the time, a lot of those bands weren't very good.
Okay.
And for a touring band or a band that's out of town, you don't go on first. So you're asked to like rock. So let's say it's a Friday night or a Saturday night, or even like midweek. You're asked to turn up at like 6:30.
Yeah.
Right. Like load in sound check if you can. If it's like a nice venue.
Okay.
I don't worry about sound checks.
No.
But it's really
just whack it up.
Just turn it up
Just
to 11.
whack it
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Invariably, you'd have a local support.
Okay.
Maybe another local support or another out of town band, and then yourselves either headlining or before the headliner.
Okay.
Okay. So if the headliner is also the big local band,
Yeah.
that gets people to stay and watch you, because you don't want to turn up and play to 3 people, which has definitely happened. More than I played a gig once where we just played to the bands
Okay.
and the promoter.
Yeah.
Because we were like on first or second. It was in Cambridge. It was Smithers. Smithers will testify.
Yeah,
and we did an interview that day as well.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, it was awful. But, so for me, a lot of the time, if I really like sort of think about it, is I don't like finding new bands because I listen to so many new bands.
Yeah.
And they were rubbish.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it kind of really killed music for me.
I think there's too much, because it's easier to find new music than ever. And what
So
I find
easy.
is when I start to sift through Spotify or Bandcamp or wherever you go, you have to sift through so much to find something that's decent.
You do.
It takes up too much time, and you haven't got that time because you're on to other stuff and you've got too much to do. So what I'm finding nowadays is I do listen to new music, but it's old music because I know what I'm getting myself in for. So do you know what I mean?
I'm prepared.
Yeah. So I think if I was a lot younger and I had more time and I was going out to clubs and gigs, I'd be able to learn about new music a lot easier because I'd have the time to invest.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I haven't got that time. I want to listen to something new, so I just go, what's been an influence on some other bands I like?
Yep.
This guy's Springsteen.
Okay.
Probably quite good because everyone loves him and he sold a lot of records and he's an influence on other bands I like.
Yeah.
I haven't got any Springsteen records, so I can just go back and listen to him.
I did this with Bowie a couple of years ago.
Bowie, definitely.
I knew the hits,
Yeah,
but I didn't know like the albums.
yeah,
And I was like, well, clearly he's very good.
yeah. Just
A lot of people like him.
stick with something tried and tested. Yeah, because you haven't got the time to dick around, like trying to find some other gobshite band from the arse end of England. You just want to stick with something what you think you're going to like. You've heard a load of songs already.
Yep.
And you just go, okay, I'll just go and listen to that, and that's your new music.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that because
that to me that is new music.
that's fine. Yeah. That's interesting because I'm exactly in the same place. But I think when you were younger, you almost used to take a piss out of people who did that because it's like people who listen to classic rock or something. You used to think, all right, Grandad, we're listening to all this cool
Steely
new
Dan.
music. Yeah, we're listening to all this cool stuff on this new scene that's coming out of London, But you just go back, and I've had some great bands, last few years. That I just never give the time of day to back when I was a bit younger for whatever reason.
Who was that?
It's Springsteen, Love, who I was talking about. That's maybe just because they're on my mind. I'll lend you some Love. You'll like that.
I could just Spotify it.
Yeah, of course you can. I'll make you a compilation tape.
Brilliant.
They're really good.
Brilliant. Have you seen that YouTube video of those? So Dad like digs out loads of his tapes.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right, and he's like, kids must be, I don't know, like 10, 12 years old. So all they know is Apple.
Oh, God.
All they know is an iPad or an iPod or an iPhone or like a digital like display that isn't a mini disc, right? And so he's got these got these cassettes and he goes, oh, these are some of like the I'm sort of very very loosely paraphrasing here. I wasn't paying much attention to it. So basically they've got these cassettes and they're like, well, how do you listen to music on it? Right. And I'm just watching it going, oh my fucking God. Like, this is happening.
They just couldn't work it out.
Couldn't work it out. Didn't know how it worked. Genuinely didn't know how it worked.
Okay.
So they're looking at it, and they're like guessing, and one of them even says, "Oh, do you look through like the little spokes? I can't think of the word.
Oh right, yeah.
You know how it turns.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's looking at it like a kaleidoscope type sticks it towards his
No, he
eyes.
hasn't.
Yeah, no.
You
This
think
is
it's like a virtual reality thing? or
yeah,
something?
right. And he goes, so do you like? And there's like holes, isn't there, in cassettes? Like certain holes. Like if you remember,
Okay.
like how the tape's set up. And he goes, so do you put your headphones in here, and then you look through the cassette holes, and that's how you experience music?
Oh, wow.
And the dad's just like, I think he must have found it very, very amusing at one point.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where he was like, oh my god, this is desperately sad.
Just start crying.
Yeah. It's like, these are my memories.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to interact with them. That's
really
weird if you really love music.
Yeah.
But
I think there's something. It changed so for me. It changed so much and so quickly. Because you started off. I started off with cassettes.
yeah.
Then I guess I was on that point when I started listening to music. Cassettes were already on their way out. CDs came. I mean, the first album, like I say, was a CD.
Yeah.
We had CDs for a long time, and I remember people suddenly started talking to me about digital music and you got yourself an iPod or I was so slow to keep up with it. Do you know what I mean? I was still having CDs, so I would walk to work with my CD player, and I'd have a CD on the way to work.
Yeah.
And then a CD on the way home.
Did you have to hold it in your hand
Yeah,
to make
just
sure
really,
that it didn't...
And I bounce up and down a lot when I walk, so...
I've got a lot of spring in my step.
I invented, like, the dubstep remix of, like... it was just like, do.
Yeah.
And I had that for a long time, and I was quite slow to pick up on the, this new format.
Yeah.
But I remember getting my first MP3 player
Uh-huh.
and starting to drag and drop through this
Yeah.
very simple
Yeah.
interface.
I had a mini disc before, even all of them.
I skipped a mini disc. But suddenly I had 1,000 songs in my pocket, and it really did blow my mind. It really did. But kids nowadays, that's all they know, right?
Especially
and
as well.
Scares me.
It's like you've got 1,000 songs, but you actually only ever listen to like 70.
Yeah.
You're like, how am I going to fill this up? I don't know 1,000 songs.
Did you used to have it on shuffle and just skip through until you found the song you wanted anyway?
Yeah, pretty much.
Rather than just like navigate through and listen to it anyway.
Mine was a Zen Media Creative or something it was called. It was pretty good. I tell you, one time I did have it on shuffle.
Okay.
And it played Planet Caravan by Black Sabbath.
Right.
On shuffle.
Yeah.
And then it played Planet Caravan, the Black Sabbath cover by Pantera.
No way.
Back to back.
I had
Ghost in the Shell.
I had something really similar.
Really freaked me out.
It was Surfing Bird. I had. That's a song, isn't it?
It is a song.
It was The Cramps.
Yep.
Immediately followed by the Ramones version. And I had the same thing, so I was like stopped in my tracks.
Who has the better version?
The Cramps is a bit more unhinged, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the Cramps.
Yeah, I like the Cramps.
I really like the Cramps.
Yeah.
It's like I really feel like if you made like a really sort of like Grindhouse, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Reject type, but more comedy leaning.
Okay.
I know there are comic moments in those films.
Yeah.
But like more comic leaning, I always think that the Cramps should probably be the soundtrack to that.
Yeah.
Because they've got that really spooky rockabilly type vibe to them.
And
he's got like a horror type voice.
that kind of delivery anyway.
Yeah.
there's no bad Cramp songs because they basically have one song and it was good.
Yeah.
And then they just did slightly different versions of it for a good few years.
That's fair, yeah.
They kind of changed their style up a little bit. I've got a bit of a surprise for you though anyway.
Oh, go
so I came prepared. I've got all this documentation. Just talking about whether you keep up to date with new music and what you're listening to nowadays. I had a dig through Facebook because something popped up on my memories. Because I have no memories of my own. I have memories on Facebook.
You only have cyber memories that you have to download.
Facebook tells me what to remember. Because, do you remember this thing that happened like 10 years ago? And it's like, no, but thank you.
Cheers for that, yeah. I've started deleting some of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just because it's a bit depressing.
We are going to have like a technology episode, I feel.
I think we should do it.
But just quickly, when it says like memories, and it's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was a bit of a dick 10 years ago, I'll be honest. And I'm like, what on earth am I even doing? So I just delete it. I'm not
really?
I'm not having that there. I mean, I'm sure it's probably there somewhere out in the ether, the digital ether. But this is nonsense. I'm deleting this.
Well, I take screenshots of all of your stuff, so you can.
Great. Thanks, man.
But what I found was, it was an old... Do you remember these old notes that used to do around on Facebook? And you had to... So this one is 15 albums in 15 minutes.
Oh, like a chain letter?
Like a chain letter kind of
thing. Chain email, yeah.
You would fill it in, then you would tag 5 of your mates and get them to fill it in and vote, you know, so it goes on. You tagged me in something.
Oh.
Well, you filled yours in August 31st, 2010.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
I bet you I'm still listening to 5 of those albums.
Well, this is what I wanted to find out. So,
right.
I'm going to give you your one.
What's the premise here?
Well, I just wanted to find out. This is what
we were listening
to. Yeah, read the rules
okay,
first,
I'll read the
just
rules,
so everyone knows what we're on about.
So, 15 albums in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The rules: don't take too long to think about it.
Yeah.
15 albums you've heard that will always stick with you. List the first 15 you recall in no more than 15 minutes. Tag 15 friends.
Yeah.
Including me. Oh, so the person who sent it to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in seeing what albums my friends would choose. To do this, go to your Notes tab. Notes tab doesn't exist on Facebook anymore, does it? I don't think.
I don't know how I found this. I just searched 15 albums.
Oh, this is weird.
But yeah, I thought it'd be interesting if you read yours out and then you see if it's changed very much.
Oh, okay.
And I'll do the same. And we could find out if we're listening to actually anything new at all.
Right, okay. Who's going first? You want to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I'll go first. So the first one is the first Bronx album.
Yeah.
Absolutely still listen to that.
Yeah, stellar album, yeah.
Mainly as well, that band me and Smithers were in, your brother.
Yes.
We just ripped off the Bronx.
Yeah.
We just wanted to be the Bronx.
Did it well.
Yeah,
that was good.
Well,
no, I thought so.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They were at Northampton Bronx.
Thanks, man. I think Crows were a better Bronx rip-off, to be honest. But Got Club was okay. Heart Attack American was definitely a massive inspiration in regards to Plain Jane, which is our first and best song.
Great song.
Because it was just the intro to Heart Attack American, but the other way round, and then for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was okay. Cool.
Wicked.
Cold War Kids, Robbers and Cowards.
That's a great album.
I haven't listened to them in so long.
Really?
But that was that album was super cool.
Yeah, it's a good album.
I don't think I'd heard any band like that because I used to listen to I listened to like Joe Savage was a massive influence on what I used to listen to. It was like sort of hardcore punk.
Okay.
And like rock and roll punk and hardcore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when Cold War Kids came around, like they looked like they could be in a hardcore band.
Okay. Yeah.
They were kind of like I don't really know how to describe it, like fashion wise.
Yeah.
And like chest tattoos and a couple of knuckle tattoos and
a couple of white t-shirts
and yeah. And I was like, what the fuck are these? And then they dug out like this really off kilter southern tinged indie twang stuff
and super religious.
Were they?
Yeah, they were like really quite devout Baptist, kind of Christian, deep South Christians. Yeah, and I think that came to the front in later albums, but.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But Robbers and Cowards, that was a great album.
Yeah,
Deftones' White Pony,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I could talk about that album for years.
Yeah.
This whole episode could be about that album. Do you want some album facts? Deftones' White Pony.
Yeah.
Might be wrong. So it's a Ross fact.
Okay.
Not an actual fact.
Yeah.
Can be verified.
If only we had a way of finding
if only
this
we had
information.
some quick instant way to
in the palm of our hands.
Yeah. Apparently Abe Cunningham, the drummer, right, when he played when he recorded his drum parts, apparently they mic'd each individual drum.
Right. Okay.
And I think so. What they would do is like he'd play it, right? But he'd play the track. Like let's say he played Digital Bath.
Okay.
Right? So he'd play it like 10 times through.
Yeah.
Right. And so the first go round, it would be the floor tom that was mic'd, and the rest of the drum kit wasn't.
Okay.
Right. And then it would be the snare that was mic'd.
Okay.
And I think that's what happened, and that's what the drums on White Pony are probably the best thing about White Pony.
Okay.
If you really wanted to go back and listen to it,
I might give it another listen.
But the drums on that album are probably the best drums I've ever heard on any album
Really?
ever. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's a thing that they did, or they mic'd it in such a specific way to make them really like pop,
really
as it were, really buttery and sexy.
Nice.
Lateralus by Tool.
Okay.
I remember being at college when this came out, and I met some stoners and
some
druggers. Some druggers.
Oh dear.
And some ne'er-do-wells.
Well, I hope you avoided them going forward.
And this was an album that they listened to.
Okay.
And Maynard Keenan from Deftones was on White Pony.
Oh right.
And I remember like it's on Passenger, and this second voice came in on over the top of Chinos or like harmonising or in a separate verse or chorus and middle note, whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
And he had just such a compelling voice. Like it really.
Okay.
It got right. It sounds really weird I haven't spoken about music like this in a long time.
Yeah.
It was like it got right inside you.
Okay.
I was like, I've got to find out who this band are. So that was definitely that.
I don't know any at all.
Yeah, it's great.
No,
Great band.
Might give them a go. Then.
Great band. Not nearly as prolific as people would want them to be, but I think that's part of the magic.
Okay.
Thrice, The Artist in the Ambulance. That was just kind of cool, sort of. At the time. Descendants, Milo Goes to College. Great album. MIA, Carla.
Yeah.
That is banging.
That is a great album.
That is a
fantastic
fantastic
album.
Paper Planes is on that.
That was the second one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, the first one was like an EP with like Bucky Dungan
yes.
in it. But Carla was like a full length.
Yeah.
It was
Jimmy?
That's on there. Yeah, like track 6 or 7 or something.
That's good stuff.
Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. This is either your fault or my friend Lee Irons.
I think it's probably your friend then, so I don't think I actually have that album.
Oh, really?
That's a bit of a blind spot, actually. So
Good.
talking about getting into tried and tested bands, I've only got 1, maybe 2 Nick Cave albums, so I need to go back and revisit those.
Murder Ballads was definitely like the one at the time, and like I was trying to be cool and like write really cool songs and stuff being in a band, and Nick Cave seemed like a good guy to listen to.
Yeah, for sure.
Riverboat Gamblers, again Joe Savage. There's a song in there, I think it is that title as well, To the Confusion of Our Enemies, is the name of the album, and a song on there, and it's just like really sort of.
He's shaking his fists.
I'm not even. I'm just clenching them. It's like it's really like a positive punk rock type album. Like just that song.
Right.
That's a good one. Every Time I Die, I really wanted to be Keith Buckley.
Right.
I listened to Every Time I Die for a long time. Hot Damn's the one with like a Bolarama. Yeah, a Bolarama, and I've been gone a long time. Pornography. That's witty, isn't it?
Pornography.
Yeah.
See, these are a bit too heavy for me. I think I've missed a lot of it.
Every Time I Die, maybe outside your lane a little bit. What else have we got? Gaslight Anthem. That was good. If you like Springsteen, you like the Gaslight Anthem. The guy
modern
pretty much
Springsteen.
Yeah, pretty much like a blue collar, like punk rock type
songs about cars and
black coffee and all that
drinking
stuff.
coffee in cars.
Yeah, drinking hot coffee in cars in the rain.
In the rain, wow.
Things like that. Glassjaw, Everything You Needed to Know About Silence. That's a brilliant album.
Yeah.
That album, I think it's pretty much about Daryl Palumbo breaking up with like a girl.
Right.
And it's the most emotionally like devastating album. You listen to it, like whatever happened in that relationship. It damaged that man, like beyond like repair. Go and listen to like we'll swap these and and we'll, next time we record we'll have a little catch up. But whoever that was, you don't like her.
No,
you don't like her very much at all. Nah. The Black Dahlia Murder, Unhallowed. That's like the first full length they did. I still listen to that. I think I listen to that once a week.
Really?
I really do. I know every. And I'm a bullshit drummer. I'm rubbish. But like at my desk at work, I'm just like blast beats away. People are like, can you not?
Get back to your macros.
Yeah, hey, do a H lookup.
Yes.
I don't know what that is, I've got to ring Jeff.
Google it.
Tom Waits, Rain Dogs.
Yes.
Obviously.
We're both big Tom Waits fans.
Tom Waits for no man.
Oh, fuck. Bloody love Tom Waits.
Let's
just talk about Tom Waits.
No, we could. And like I couldn't ever really commit to it. But I really wanted to be like that troubadour, Marlboro Red smoking, like guy who could like play piano and make a guitar and stuff like that. And I never could get there.
Never quite got there.
And I can't play any instrument. I'm terrible. But I there's a part of me that's like there's jealousy, there's envy, and there's just like this feeling about Tom Waits. I was like, you're possibly the coolest man that ever lived.
Yeah, I mean,
and do you I kind of sometimes if you go to like videos of him like in the 70s doing interviews and stuff, I can't tell if he knows how cool he is.
I think because he's quite he acts, doesn't he? He's quite artistic. He's quite a showman. I think he probably is very aware.
Do you think he's
of what he's portraying?
Do you think he's gone past the line though now? So he's turned into Tom Waits.
I think he was. Back in the day, there was a character he wanted to portray.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, like talking about, you said you never smoked and drank enough to con. Back when I first got into Tom Waits, I think I was Tom Waits because I kind of heard. I can't really remember what was the first Tom Waits song I heard, but I started to get into him kind of in my student days. And this was a guy who was drinking whiskey every night, smoking too much, staggering around in the moonlight in a raincoat and a trilby. That was me. That was me. And so he was kind of singing, but he was portraying this character.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a.
There's a lot of that with rock stars, though, isn't there?
Yeah. But that was me for only not for long, but for a little while, I guess. But I think he kind of did. He flipped over the edge and kind of became it.
Yeah. Then
he withdrew and started to make very strange music and became quite straight edge.
Yeah.
Quit the drink.
Yeah.
Didn't smoke as much, but.
I think there's like a Lemmy quote, and is like, so he was talking about people who want to be rock stars.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, he goes, everybody, was it something about the capacity for self-abuse, but most don't have it.
Okay.
And and people like maybe Tom Waits did have it, and like Tommy Lee, and people like that. Or Nicky Sixx for his prime example. I think he's been dead twice. Yeah. And now he's like straight and narrow and probably does yoga and stuff. Yeah. But like Lemmy never stopped. Never stopped drinking, never stopped smoking, never stopped wearing tiny denim pants.
Yes.
And
the dream.
Yeah. The dream. But like there's a lot of people like you were like, yeah, I can do this, and you're like, in the end you're like, no, I can't.
I'm tired.
I'm tired and I might be dying. Like, I've gone yellow.
I really just want a cup of tea now. Yeah. And that's enough.
Can I have a cup of tea and some broccoli, please? Because I feel
I
feel rubbish.
My first vegetable in 4 years now.
Yeah.
Right?
And Ghost Ride.
I never heard of Ghost Ride.
So Ghost Ride had a couple of people from Will Haven in. I never really listened to Will Haven. I remember they had an album, a song called Carpe Diem, which had Chino from Deftones in the video. I don't really remember much of their stuff. But I didn't know that until after I bought the album. Right? I bought it because they were called Ghost Ride. Like, that's a cool name.
That's a good name.
I bought this in Spinner Disc, by the way.
Okay.
And Cobra cool Sunrise. Well, that has to be cool.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's just like really sort of kind of down-tuned desert rock.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. The Queens of the Stone
Very much so, but like more... bit denser. Like the sound is a bit thicker.
Yeah. Not more stupid, just denser sounding. Okay, I'll give those a go as well.
And then I commented on it saying I didn't even put Interpol in this.
Yes, and that made me laugh because I saw this just after we'd been to Interpol.
And he goes, "This makes me sad." I'm quite happy to say that all of those albums. Because I was worried when you brought this up.
Okay.
That I might not have listened to, and I only said it because I wanted to be cool.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But luckily,
I've
listened to all of them.
Good. You haven't just picked a cool album.
Yeah, no. I was worried when you said it. Yeah, no, because I was very insecure. Like 7 to 10 years ago. Yeah, because everyone around me was like cooler, much cooler, and I really wanted that acceptance. Like you go through that in your 20s, especially with music.
Yeah, I think you do.
And you're like, well, do I like this band? But no one else likes this band, so is that okay?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so no, I'm quite thankful actually that I've heard and listened and still regularly play some of those. That's good. I'm kind of proud of myself.
Validated. That's a good list. That's a cool list, right?
Cool, man. What have you got?
Well, I had 15 albums, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The Smiths debut. The Smiths.
What's on that?
Self-titled. So this is Hand in Glove.
No.
Still Ill.
No.
So the earlier sound was a lot kind of rawer.
Okay.
I just love the Smiths. The Smiths are my favourite band of all time.
Okay.
But just thinking back to we were talking about how you get your recommendations for music.
You do.
And how nowadays it does feel a little bit impersonal, doesn't it? Because you're getting your recommendations based on like an algorithm on a website.
So,
you know what I mean?
So someone's trying to tell you what to listen to.
Yeah, because you're listening to Spotify, you're listening to YouTube, and it's kind of, if you liked this you know, try this over here, and you know, it's a little bit impersonal. Whereas back in the day, it was all based on recommendations from friends or family or magazines you were all reading. Cheers, man.
Oh, is that all of it?
Oh,
crap.
Do you want to sip of my coffee?
No, it's alright, carry on.
I got into the Smiths, I think, when I was 14, but I was just knocking around the house being a bit mopey, as 14-year-olds are wont to do.
Yeah.
I was being a bit Morrissey-esque, I think, before I even knew Morrissey was like a thing. But my dad handed me a cassette tape.
Your dad?
Yeah, my dad. So my dad's a big Smiths fan.
Oh, okay.
So on side A was the Smiths' debut, side B was Queen is Dead.
Yeah, I know that one.
And he said, you know, give this a go, you might like this based on other stuff you're listening to.
Based on your current demeanour.
Based on your current pallor and the fact that you haven't got out of bed in a week. But yeah, give it a go, and you know, that's my band. That was my band from that point.
Yeah, when people talk like about their mates and about music and stuff, and every time I ever mention the Smiths, I do generally think of you.
Oh, okay.
So that's quite good. Yeah. What else have you?
I had Morrissey. not straying too far from Viva Hate is kind of big debut. Great album. Couldn't not have a Morrissey album. Smashing Pumpkins. Melancholy.
Infinite Sadness.
Which is a big bastard album, isn't it? That's 28 tracks, 30 tracks. I think that was the first band. I don't know, the Smiths are always my favourite band. Maybe I was a bit later getting into those, but the Smashing Pumpkins, probably going back to the MTV thing, so they always had really great videos.
They did have great videos.
They were really heavily promoted.
I only ever had Siamese Dream.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't have Melancholy.
Yeah.
Siamese Dream was Siamese Dream seemed to be a lot more rocking.
Yeah, Siamese Dream was the same sort of sound flowing through it, wasn't it? It was kind of dreamy, heavy, rocky pop. Melancholy was a bit of everything. It was just throwing everything into the melting pot. You had all kinds of tunes in there. But, I mean, that was an overwhelming album. The song that got me into those was Tonight Tonight.
Okay, yeah. The one with the bells?
Yeah, never the big violin, you know, with the orchestra behind it. Never really heard anything like that. For a big rock band to do a song like that. I'm sure it's been done before.
Yeah.
But that was new to me at the time, and it had that amazing video.
Did have a great video. It was like
it's quite Voyage to the Moon homage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Weezer, Blue Album, we talked about.
Yeah.
Wild Hearts, Earth vs. Wild Hearts. I know you're not a fan, are you?
I'm really not.
I bloody love Wild Hearts.
Have I seen them? Did we see them? With Therapy?
Yeah. Therapy supported them at some point. I probably dragged you along, did I?
Yeah, no, it was there.
Yeah.
And the drummer from the Wild Hearts threw his stick into the crowd.
Okay.
Right, and I caught it.
Yeah.
Because it was coming at my face.
He threw it at you.
Yeah. He could see how annoyed I was and disappointed that they were not very good.
Get that lad out.
Yeah, and I was living with Bez at the time.
Yes.
And Bez really wanted that drumstick because he's a big Wild Hearts fan.
Yeah, that's right.
And I refused to give it to him. Until we moved out.
Really?
And then I gave it to him.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, like a little gift.
That was another one off my dad, actually. Another recommendation off my dad.
Oh, okay.
And I think they were just big, heavy, but very anthemic. Usually you get the thing where it's like Metallica crossed with the Beach Boys or Metallica crossed with the Beatles, as in very melodic but very heavy as well.
Yeah.
Just big fat riffs. It's heavier than a lot of stuff I listen to, but I think because it's always got that melodic side, I kind of always go back to it.
Yeah, okay,
cool.
Yeah,
the Wild Hearts Surface is Wild Hearts. Tom Waits, Mule Variations.
Don't know that.
Yeah, that's a really solid album. Mogwai, Come On Die Young.
Oh, wow.
Just one of my favourites. That's a fantastic album.
I only know one Mogwai album, and it's off that TV show, that French TV show.
Oh yeah, The Returned.
Yeah. Or in French, Le Revenant. Yeah. I like Mogwai. I like stuff like that. I like sort of. I don't like a lot of prog.
No.
Can you call it prog? Or do people call it post-rock?
Post-rock.
Yeah, but it's really just prog, isn't it?
Yeah, elements of prog.
Well, they're not singing about wizards, though.
No, just no vocals whatsoever.
I like Mogwai. I would happily go and see Mogwai.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you never seen them?
Never seen them.
good,
No.
very loud. I think I lost my hearing a bit in my left ear because of Mogwai.
Therapy were the loudest band I think I've ever heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 days I couldn't get that snare sound out my ear.
Is that right? Do
No.
you have tinnitus?
No.
I do in my left ear. See, I
Weirdly-
think from gigs and
Yeah,
stuff.
weirdly I don't, despite playing in bands and practicing and stuff
yeah.
like that. No.
So I have to now when I go and see a gig. I have little earplugs.
It makes sense. Like
Yeah,
my friend James,
I need it.
You know the Atrocity exhibit?
Yes.
My friend James, they make a hell of a noise.
Yeah.
They're so loud.
Yeah.
And they're fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
They all wear earplugs.
I think
It's not cool to go deaf.
As you get older, you need to.
Yeah.
I think naturally, I read somewhere you lose your hearing as you get older anyway, because you
Yeah.
know your eyesight starts to go, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
But the range of sounds you can pick up starts to drop off as you get
the
older. It
pitch.
starts to narrow in,
Mm.
so you lose some either side.
Do you think it's because you? Let's not go
I don't
down
know,
science
but
path. Carry on.
Earplugs, very good idea.
Yeah.
Bell and Sebastian, if you're feeling sinister.
No,
No.
I'm not particularly feeling.
No.
It's the name of the album, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know Bella Sebastian.
No.
No.
They for me massively influenced by the Smiths. So they were
okay.
for me a modern Smiths. They
Yeah.
were kind of coming up. I kind of caught onto them quite early on through The Enemy or wherever it was.
Yeah.
And they were kind of very articulate, jingly jangly pop.
Okay.
So for want of a better comparison, I guess a modern Smith.
Modern
So
Smiths.
they were like a Smiths that belonged to me.
Smiths light.
I always liked the Smiths that they were before my time, whereas
Okay.
these guys were like.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could follow them, and they were kind of my little band at the time.
That makes sense.
King Adora, Vibrate You.
No,
No.
I don't know that. I know the name,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah. Kind of very early manic-y,
Oh, okay.
little bit unhinged.
Yeah,
But very poppy as well at the same time.
Sort of like
very melodic.
sweaty early indie.
Yeah, sweaty.
Yeah.
Grievo-y. Yeah, they're very great.
Okay.
The Streets, original
Oh, yeah.
material.
Yeah.
That was a huge album.
That was a massive album.
Massive album. And just solid all the way through.
Yeah.
One of those albums you can just put on and listen to.
I think like the first time I heard The Streets, I kind of didn't get it
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
because he had a very, very like. I know this is his thing.
Yeah.
The everyman, the common
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
and talking about life in general, but I don't know. His delivery didn't feel very passionate to me.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I didn't get it. But when I listen to The Streets now, I'm like, he's a very clever man.
Yeah, it's great.
And his finger was very much on the pulse. I like him.
And that kind of, it gets bandied around a lot more nowadays. That urban poets,
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah.
a guy back in the day.
Yeah.
The lyrics are like very poetic when you sit down and listen to it, but or read it rather. But when you're listening to it, it sounds a bit like a guy in the pub.
I think as
kind of
well,
just chatting through his day.
my problem with it as well is he had like these like garage beats, very garage influenced.
Yeah.
Like that pirate radio type stuff.
Yeah.
And then just this, I'm just a bloke talking about things, bumming cigarettes off me mates.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
kind of voice. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is weird.
It takes a while to get your head around, but
Like to sort of get in the
get
groove.
Get in the groove. Of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Once you're there, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Showing my age here, I guess, because there was kind of this movement, wasn't there, in the early 2000s? I think they were calling it the New Rock Revolution at the time,
Okay.
which was a bit.
Is that what the Enemy called it?
Enemy had this bandwagony thing, didn't they? Every few issues, they were like, "Here's the next big movement. This is what you should be listening to now." Most of them didn't stick, but this one kind of did. There was all these bands around at the same sort of time,
Okay.
kind of hanging around New York.
Right.
All breaking at the same sort of time with a similar kind of sound.
Yeah.
But the Strokes,
Yeah,
this is
the
it.
Strokes are great.
And we were listening to this album the other day, myself and my wife Jen,
Yeah.
in the car. We had it on like twice on the trot.
Yeah.
It's just such a good album to listen to all the way
There's a lot
through.
of good stuff
It's
on
really
that.
held up
Yeah,
really well, I think, because I think that's one of those things like we were saying earlier. When you're kind of in the moment, when you were younger. And you're going out and you're drinking your beers and smoking your cigarettes and going
Wearing
to
your
the
tight
clubs.
jeans.
Yeah, and all this kind of thing in the pubs. And you're hearing these tracks and they're kind of excellent at the time. You're really in the moment. When you get a bit older and look back with the benefit of time and hindsight, a lot of it doesn't stand up very well.
Yeah. That's true.
And there was this whole movement, wasn't there, back in the early 2000s? and it would have been Kings of Leon and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs and
Kings of Leon definitely isn't New York, but yeah,
that's right.
I'm trying to think Interpol come in there?
Yeah, Interpol.
They were kind of like the black sheep of that New York
maybe a little
rock
bit later
type stuff,
weren't they?
Yeah.
But those are the ones that have kind of carried on and done well, aren't they? But there were dozens of bands I can't even remember the names of. Just did not make it, did not stand the test of time, and
the Rapture.
Yeah,
they're more dancey though.
Yeah,
Rapture were good.
But I'll tell you for who I was thinking, because you have the New York as the epicenter, but America kind of bandying about all these bands,
sets the trend,
the early 2000s. Libertines.
Oh bloody!
I had the Libertines up the bracket, which was their big debut. I don't think that stood up at all.
No, I think that's very much of the time.
It's very much of the time.
I think if you listen to Block Party, that probably holds better.
Than
the Libertines. Yeah. Libertines were definitely like burn super bright. And then just crash horribly.
So I was obsessed. I mean, they were on my list. This is supposedly the 15 albums I would take to a desert island or something. Back in the day, that made the cut. And nowadays, I think back to the songs on that album, maybe it just has not aged well.
No.
Maybe a couple of good tracks on there, but overall,
I didn't get it, Libertines, because you, I mean, like you say, you were listening to kind of that New York rock type stuff, and I was listening to something else, and they just looked like a pair of crackheads.
Yeah, well they were.
Well, yeah, I mean I know they were, but like I didn't really. No, it wasn't for me.
It just wasn't.
No,
but I think they just kind of echoed what we were going through at the time, with the drinking and the going out, and they just seemed to be like slightly cooler older brothers who were making catchy tunes.
Yeah,
and you kind of wanted to be their mates.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I get it, and I totally understand how people bought into it, because there were bands like that definitely would have existed in my scene, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't make a cut now.
He was a weird old guy, wasn't he, Pete Doherty?
He's still going, isn't he? He's still alive.
I remember.
I don't know. I think he is.
He must be.
I hope he is. I hope he's got clean.
Yeah, I remember Bam Margera.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Who definitely fell off the wagon, like massive drug and alcohol problem. I remember him saying something about if because Pete Doherty was quite famous for being like a greasy drug user.
Yes.
As well as making catchy tunes.
Yeah.
And I remember Bam Margera saying something like, "If he does that much heroin, why is he still fat?"
Oh God!
And I was like, "It's an interesting point."
Yeah.
If he does that much crack, which I've never done crack.
No.
I know what it smells like.
Oh really?
But I've never done it.
No.
So I imagine, like, it ruins your appetite.
Probably
a lot of the same way that a lot of drugs do. I think, like, ruins your appetite.
Yeah. Maybe it was just so much drugs in his
body.
That
he was swelling.
He was like filling a balloon.
That's what he said. Because like, if he does that much like heroin or coke or whatever, it's like, why is he still fat?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at like, fuck it, I don't know, Courtney Love.
Yeah.
Well,
the
skeletal at times.
Yeah, that dude from Suede.
Yep.
He was on a lot.
Iggy Pop.
Yeah, Iggy Pop.
That guy probably did more coke than anyone.
Yeah.
Well,
but he made it look good, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
He looks like a chamois leather now, though. But
a chamois level with hair.
Yeah. Yeah. What else you got?
I had last few Dizzy Rascal, Boy in Da Corner,
which we're going to.
Well, yeah.
Are we?
Well, the new tour. I think he's going to do a lot of that album.
I hope so.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard Dizzy Rascal.
Yeah.
It was at a house party.
Okay.
And someone had the TV on, and it was probably MTV.
Yeah.
But there was other stuff going on. We had other music going on and conversations all around you. But I just caught a glimpse of this, whatever was on the TV. These alien sounds, sounded like something being blasted from Mars, but so aggressive.
It's sort of like glitch type drum tracks and stuff.
Glitchy, synthy, siren-y.
Yeah.
But it was that I Love You song.
Don't know that one.
I love you. Just so aggressive.
Was that Off Boy in the Corner?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it had his part, and then the female vocalist came in and gave her side of the story. But I was transfixed, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up on it! What's on the TV?" I never.
No, buzzkill. Everyone stop what you're doing and listen to this thing that I like.
Put your drinks down, turn that music off. I never heard anything like it because I was mostly into guitar music, and not very much other than that. And it blew my mind. I was like, "This is punk music, but done on a computer."
I always say this. I think to like some people, maybe I don't like say it well, like articulate it very well. Yeah. I always think that like grime, actually no, I dismiss punk now, as in punk music. Yeah. For me, like punk music is very much like it's its attitude, it's its ethos, it's beliefs, you know, and it's hello cat.
Hello cat.
And I think grime's pretty punk.
Yeah.
I do. I think it genuinely is. Yeah. And Dizzy Rascal, obviously off the top of this, he's not like a leading grime guy now.
No,
you've got Stormzy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very like a punk rock
It was
punk rock attitude.
It was such an aggressive album, like you're saying. It had that attitude, and you know, he's calling out the Prime Minister, he's calling out the royal family.
Yeah.
It was just a Sex Pistols album, but done on a computer.
Yeah, with a guy from Birmingham.
Fantastic debut, just classic album. 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster. Horse of the Dog.
Horse of the Dog?
Yeah, I think that's their debut, wasn't it?
Don't know.
The first one, Celebrating Mother and tracks like that.
Okay.
That was just a great punky...
Someone told me a story about 80s Matchbox.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but it was it's Guy McKnight, isn't it?
Yeah, Guy McKnight.
Yeah. They played the Soundhouse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it was Dan. You know my mate Dan?
Yeah, okay.
I think it was him. And he was having a wee next to Guy McKnight, who was doing his makeup.
Yeah,
or something in the mirror.
Back home in.
Yeah. And he was just like, "I know you," Dan was saying to Guy McKnight.
Yeah.
I think it's Dan anyway.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, do you?" Like, whilst he's putting his eyeliner on.
Right.
He goes, "Yeah. He used to work in X Northampton pub, whatever pub it was."
Okay.
He's like, no, that's not me. He goes, "No, it's definitely you." He's like, no, it's not me. He goes, yeah. And if Dan is telling this story, if it's Dan's story, Dan would have been pissed as a fart.
Right. Yeah.
Telling him he was wrong.
You do live here.
Yeah, you do live in Northampton.
You're wrong.
Yeah. And you're not playing here tonight. I don't know who you are. But good anecdote.
So we were at that show.
Okay.
Me and Jen, and the lights cut out, or the lecky cut out basically, as they were ready to go on.
Mm.
And they were quite the imposing, you know, drug-addled figure on stage, just about to kick
Ghosts.
in. Yeah. And all this power went basically.
Yeah.
It was maybe not Guy McKnight, but one of the guys, maybe the guitarist, walked past me and Jen in a bit of a hissy fit, just trying to work out what was going on.
Yeah.
When he spoke, he sounded so posh. He was like, "Can somebody work out what is going on?" we just pictured him as like
slurring.
Yeah, heroin needles sticking out their arm, and you know, beer everywhere. They were such nice young.
But that goes back to your Tom Waits thing, where it was an act.
Yes, maybe.
And then it surpasses that.
Yeah.
Like Towers of London.
Yeah,
I always imagine Towers of London was an act.
Yeah.
And then, what was his name? Donny Tourette?
Tourette, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then it went past that point and he just was a dickhead. You know. But for some reason everyone remembers him. You know?
Yeah. My last one was Crystal Castles, their debut
I would
album.
not pick that, being in that year 15, because they're a noisy band.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of going on from Dizzy Rascal. I think it's that same kind of aggressive music, but just done on instruments other than
it was
guitars,
really distorted, wasn't
it?
it?
Yeah. Well, I was listening to it a lot at the time. Obviously, you know, made the cut. But.
They reminded me of like, do you know Atari Teenage Riot?
Was it? Sorry?
Atari.
Atari. I thought you said Tarantino's right.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Atari Teenage Riot.
Yes, I know.
They were kind of. Crystal Castles were kind of like that.
Yeah.
It was like very digital, very distorted, very
screamy,
aggressive.
Yeah.
But like Crystal Castles were a lot more rhythmic.
Yeah, because I think they were heavily influenced by old video games and stuff. So the old 16-bit, 8-bit kind of soundtracks. Which are by definition quite tuneful, aren't they? A lot of them,
Maybe that's why everyone knows the Mario theme tune.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Tetris and whatnot. But, so, I mean, the reason just to have a chat about music more than anything, but to bring these up, do you still listen to all of these albums? So, how many of these nowadays would still make the cut? I guess.
What if they came out now?
If you had to do this quiz again, 15 albums in 15 minutes, just as a rough number. Because I reckon about 10 of those would still make the cut for me.
Yeah.
7 or 8 years on.
Somewhere between 5 and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it just goes to illustrate, I guess, that we're not listening to much news. I put this list together 7-8 years ago, or whenever it was. 2010.
August 2010.
Yeah,
so
about just over
almost
7 years ago.
7 years ago to the date, Close.
Most of those would still make the cut.
Yeah,
which
that's good.
Yeah, it's quite funny, isn't it?
It's not too bad.
So we both kind of talked about being out the loop.
Yeah.
With new music.
Well, I think that proves it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that proves it, which just goes to illustrate, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would definitely consider locally, and even actually nationally. I'm definitely out of the loop. There was a time that I went to all the gigs.
All the gigs?
Not all of them, no. But like, I went to a lot because my friends were playing in them, and that was the thing to do. We would be at a cool venue, like like the Labour Club or something like that. And I think not being in a band has definitely affected the way I seek out music now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, because like you'd see like a band playing with you, and they'd be wearing a shirt, or you'd buy their CD, or they'd talk to you about, have you heard about this band and stuff like that. And I'm just not in that group of people anymore.
No.
And
but even you're
I'm alright with that. I'm okay with that, but it has definitely affected the way I listen to music. Yeah.
But even though you're outside of that scene, like your circle of friends now, we're all in the same boat, aren't we? None of us are really seeking out new music. None of us have got the time to follow up on it, so we're not. Yeah, recommending it to each other.
See, it's a young person's game.
It's a young person game.
It is.
Do you remember when you fell out of loop? Do you have like an example? Because I kind of have one in my mind where I knew I was out the loop with new music and it had passed me by.
Go on.
It's Justin Bieber. So.
All right.
Because.
That's weird.
Isn't it? Well, yeah, but Justin Bieber, right? We all knew that song, didn't we? That Baby Baby.
It's a great song.
Baby Baby.
It's a good pop song.
It's a good pop song.
Yeah.
I think everyone was aware of that song, right? Back in the day, whatever year that
2010.
Was it?
It was, yeah, because I went travelling and it was on in a bar in Bali.
And it didn't make the cut for your 15 albums.
Well, I hadn't heard the album. 15 singles.
It might have made the cut.
Yeah, 15 singles. It might have made the cut.
I was aware of the Baby Baby song.
With Luda.
With Ludacris.
Yeah.
Then he just disappeared for me. He was outside of my sphere of kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
Then he was the biggest star on the planet all of a sudden. So there's this weird transition about 6 years or so where he was...
Teen sensation.
He was a teen sensation. Then he was huge. And for me it happened overnight. But obviously it was a slow burnish thing over 6 years or so.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you more than 3 Justin Bieber songs.
Oh, baby.
Because you've got the Baby Baby Baby. Then you've got the newer stuff like Sorry, is it too late to say sorry? Boyfriend
that one when he's like,
maybe was
I
one.
Be your boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's whispering.
He does a little rap, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does do a little rap. A little whispery rap.
Yeah.
That one with Skrillex and Diplo.
Yes, which is another new one, isn't it? don't know. I know the song.
Where Are You Now?
Where Are You Now? Okay, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Great video.
Okay. But the fact we're struggling to name more than the 2 or 3 big hits of the last summer
like you said,
so.
like his first single, To Our Mind,
yeah,
and then everything recent.
Yeah.
There's this gap in between.
What happened in between? So he was a teen sensation.
Yeah.
Then he was the biggest star on the planet, so by definition you're going to pick up on a couple of tracks. But that stuff in between, where he was growing in popularity, if you were younger, I presume you wouldn't have followed his trajectory, right?
Yeah.
We didn't, so that's outside of our sphere of knowledge. I think that just shows around. That illustrates when we.
I don't remember
fell out of the
songs.
loop.
I remember him like peeing in a bin.
Yeah, I maybe remember stories in the tabloids,
like causing a ruckus in an airport,
but not for music.
No,
not for music.
No, that is weird.
I think you could read out all of his singles. I'm sure he's had 3 or 4 singles a year, right? All of that.
Yeah.
All of that time, and they wouldn't. I wouldn't recognise any of them.
If someone could write in and tell us what happened in that 6 years.
What happened with Justin Bieber?
If you could email it to I don't care at tiscali.co.uk.
So isn't it weird though that someone on a similar trajectory was Britney Spears, right?
Oh, okay.
So Britney Spears was like another teen sensation. She had another baby song, "Hit Me Baby One More Time."
Yeah.
Her trajectory kind of ascended, and she had. But I followed that trajectory. I knew all of the singles.
Yeah,
right?
but you were young.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So I'm out the loop now.
Also, attractive female.
I guess so, mate.
That might.
Bieber looks like an attractive female.
He's a good-looking bloke.
He's a good person.
He looks short.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's great at loads of things.
Yeah. He plays like 7 instruments.
Yeah. He can dance super well.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's not a bad footballer either.
Okay.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
But he's Canadian, isn't he? He's not from the US.
He's Canadian.
He is from Canada.
But he was in my mind because Jen is a massive Bieber fan.
Is she?
And the strange thing is, he's gone from, like say, that teen sensation kind of thing, to being a sexy, hunky guy. And
Calvin Klein model.
But I still think of him as like the little teen sensation kid. So to hear women talk about him like that is a bit strange for me still.
Yeah.
But he's a huge standout. We went to go and see him at Hyde Park.
We didn't.
Yeah, no, me and Jen. Because Jen's a big fan, right? So we went to go and see him at Hyde Park. He put on this enormous show. Tens of thousands of people all singing every word to every song.
Yeah.
And I was just standing there going, I know the Baby Baby song and the new song. But yeah, I was just out, I feel out the loop with Bieber. So can you think of something
similar?
Just where you can put your finger on it and just go, I was out the loop. That's when I transitioned to just not knowing music anymore.
No, I stopped like with pop music.
Yeah.
Because what I was doing at the time wasn't there. Like the general interest wasn't there.
Okay.
And also, a lot of the people would like ridicule you for liking pop songs, but a good pop song is a good pop song.
Yeah,
there's a reason that you dance around to Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
there's a reason you dance around to
Swiftie.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't really know.
Do you think it's something to do with like radio isn't a thing anymore either? Because back in the day, radio, MTV, all of that kind of thing, you were more exposed to what was popular.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everyone listens to their own thing, right? You're at work and you have your podcasts on, or you listen to your own tracks. You're not listening to radio. You're not picking up.
I listen to Radio 4.
Yeah.
And podcasts.
I haven't listened to Radio 1 probably years and years and years.
Do you know what? Before, so when me and Vic got together, she used to drive me to work because it was on her way, and we were living together. Yeah. And she had Radio 1 in the car.
Okay.
And I remember, I was just like, she knew like all of these songs. I think, that might be my moment, actually.
Yeah.
So she knew all of these songs.
Right.
And I just, like all the choruses, all the words, all the, all the little, like, whatever, like the drum bit.
The little dance.
Like the little feel. Do you know what I mean? Like she knew every little bit of these songs.
And
dabbing. Yeah.
Doing all this.
And I remember like just looking at it like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my moment. And that's probably... a year and a half ago, 18 months ago maybe.
Okay.
When I realised popular culture was out there.
Yeah.
With like bands, like cool bands, like noisy cars.
It's a drive-by.
Mean Streets, King's College. That's what you get around here, mate. And but like in regards to like sort of underground and like DIY and independent bands and things like that, I definitely fell off when I stopped being in a band.
Yeah.
Definitely
You're just
fell
not
off at
exposed
that
to that
point.
scene anymore.
Yeah, just not into it.
Yeah.
Don't want anything to do with it because everyone thinks they're going to be a rock star, and it's not through a lack of hard work for most people. It's just not going to happen.
Just like
Yeah, and that's life, you know. But fair play for keep cracking on.
So it's probably around the time you hit your 30s, your early 30s. You just get, because that was for me with the Jimmy Bieber. He was popular, and then, you know, in my early 30s, I just kind of lost track of the charts and Justin Bieber as an example. It must have been around the same sort of time for you then, right? A couple of
probably.
Years ago?
When did Crows finish? 2013.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So around the 30. Something about a tipping point, isn't it?
Yeah. So I turned 30 2015.
Okay.
So 28.
Yeah.
28. I just gave up.
Just go.
Gave up on everything. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm not sure what else we can cover, really. You got anything else?
I just had. Do you buy music anymore? Do you
nah,
actually pay for music?
I don't buy for nothing.
You don't?
No. Is $9.99 a month for Spotify buying music?
I suppose
You could argue that it is.
I suppose you're streaming it, aren't you? Can you remember the last time you actually went out and bought an album?
I didn't go out. I bought it on Amazon.
Oh, but yeah.
Did it from the comfort of my own phone.
Who goes out to a
like
shop?
whilst I was on the loo or something.
Yeah.
I think the last album I bought was Sunbather by a band called Deaf Heaven.
Okay. Yeah.
Black metal band.
Yeah.
From America.
Yeah.
And kind of not like black metal purists don't really like it.
Right.
And I kind of think it's a bit hipster because the guy who sings in the front of it's got like a really sweet, slick hairdo.
Yeah.
He's very model handsome. Like he's very Dolce and Gabbana handsome.
Okay.
And he wears tight black jeans, shoot like pointy winkle pickers,
Right,
or
nice.
like a Chelsea boot maybe.
Yeah.
And just like a black t-shirt. He's just that guy.
Okay.
But and the album cover was pink.
Right.
Yeah, and it didn't have like the typical like looks like a bunch of thistles black metal logo.
Yeah.
Where you can't tell.
You can't
what
read
says.
it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just it was sort of very diagonal shaped.
Yeah.
Like letters of
Okay.
their name. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
Somewhere between Sigur Rós and black metal.
Okay.
That's where I place it.
Yeah.
If you can imagine such a thing.
I can imagine.
It's very ethereal, very like
Ethereal.
big. Yeah, I know. Good
Lovely,
word, right?
lovely.
It sounds really big and
Yeah.
like it surrounds you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good album. Probably the last album I bought. I think.
So is
that's
that digital or a
physical?
A physical?
Physical record.
A CD?
I had the CD. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When was that?
Pass.
Yeah, a while ago.
2014,
Okay. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
You?
So I went through a phase of not buying anything,
Mm.
just listening either to online.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been too scared to download stuff illegally. Like I think everyone does it nowadays. But
Yeah.
I think I'm just that little bit too old. I'm still terrified of getting viruses and earworms
And someone knocking on your door.
Yeah, I think it was just rammed into me as a kid. Like, do not steal music.
Yeah, which is fair.
And when the internet was first a thing, I was a newcomer to it, right?
Uh-huh.
So I remember the early days of the internet and people just telling me, you know, don't.
LimeWire.
Yeah, all that.
Kazaa. Was it Kazaa?
It's something around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just always remember it being a very big criminal act.
Yeah.
To going down, and it required hacking, and you know, it seemed like a much bigger crime.
Being in a band,
Yeah.
I don't really have an issue with it.
Okay.
Like, if you wanted to buy a CD, cool. We were just going to put it back in the car anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, fair
Like,
enough.
we would just
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back into petrol or whatever. We never were like making any money or whatever. But I think like bands who probably tour more frequently and don't have a permanent job because of these things.
Yeah.
It's probably a bigger deal.
Yes.
But for me, I weren't too bothered.
Didn't
Like, if you want to rob it, whatever.
Yeah.
Like we used to make a lot of our songs downloadable for free.
Okay.
But that was really to hope that somebody paid attention to us and we
Yeah.
could quit our jobs and live the life of right.
To get that kind of initial
International
recognition.
men of leisure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird old thing. I remember I bought like a pirate DVD from a guy when I worked at Blockbuster and stuff.
Yeah.
And that kind of felt naughty
Yeah.
because I had to I had to go out to the back of the building and.
Yeah, there was a bit more involved back in the day. It seemed like a bigger thing, so I think I've just carried that on. So I still, if I want a new album, I tend to order off of like a second-hand one off of Amazon or eBay or.
You just pay the postage.
You just pay a penny or something. Yeah, you pay the postage. I've got like a little dealer.
A dealer.
A dealer for my illegal music. So
is it Smithers?
Probably shouldn't say their name because it's such a.
It's a code name. It's a street name.
A heinous crime, right?
It's a street name.
But you get music off of people, don't you? And they've downloaded that illegally. But I just never have done that. Maybe I just.
I don't think you're going to get caught out like saying it on a podcast. No. But, like, I know loads of people who do that.
Yeah, everyone. I think everyone does it now.
Yeah, but that's not how bands make their money anymore.
No.
They make their money through merchandise and tours.
Do you think it's like Pandora's box, right? So the box has opened, and everyone now just downloads everything. Yeah. People expect music to be free it's just online. It's just disposable, and it's just out there.
Artists know, I think, and bands know that their music is going to be stolen.
Yeah.
By a certain percentage of their fan base. Yeah. And also not their fan base.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, as someone who used to be in a band, do you think you just have to adapt and get on board with that idea?
I think you've got to accept it. Well, what choice have you got?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's going to stop? Yeah. Who's going to stop them?
Do you think you have to find other ways then of making the money?
I think, like I said,
merchandise.
I think merchandise and touring is how bands make their money.
Yeah.
And maybe singles.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
That's why you get like 8 singles off an album now sometimes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure somebody smarter than me knows the actual answer to that question. But I would have thought tours and merch is how bands make their money now.
So I would have thought touring, right? Because you're rocking up to a venue. As you get bigger, people are setting up all the kit for you anyway. Yeah. You're just going out, you're performing those songs that you know, obviously know by heart, and then move on to the next players. I'm still surprised that those kind of bigger bands like we just saw Interpol, right? They are in the middle of touring right now and they've got maybe 10 dates. I always thought, now you're not making money off the albums themselves, you're making the money off the merch and the touring, which goes hand in hand. I would have expected bands to be playing more venues, like more dates on a tour. Do you know what I mean?
Because depends on the price. How much was that Interpol ticket?
Yeah, I mean that was a bit pricey.
Was that 40 quid?
Those kind of mid-level bands, wouldn't you have thought if you set up a tour and you're hitting all of these mid-level venues and maybe charging £20 a pop, come to a Roadmender? Do you know what I mean? You're going to sell out the Roadmender. 1,500 people are going to be paying 20 quid buying a t-shirt.
Yeah, but then 9,000 people paid 40 quid.
Yeah, but instead of like just 10 dates, maybe do 40. You're still just working those 40 days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I kind of get what you're saying. But
I just don't see many bands doing those big tours. They may be hitting a few bigger venues. Maybe they'd be making...
Are Interpol that active anymore, though? I don't think they're a very good example.
They've got another album out.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But just...
I don't know, I just turned up for the 50th anniversary.
But I guess just mid-level kind of bands.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's just the way to adapt. But I don't see it happening as often as I thought it would. Like a gig, a venue like the Roadmender isn't attracting many bands still.
They make more money having like a Friday and a Saturday night club night than they do having to pay out for a band.
I suppose so.
So they have to cut, first off, you've got to cover for the band. A band will have a guarantee. So we used to have a guarantee. It was like 20 quid petrol.
Okay.
Wherever. Like if we could. Yeah. If not, give us a sandwich. Whatever. And so I guess like if you book Interpol are going to charge you £5,000.
Right. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
So then obviously you got to recover your costs in other
Right.
ways.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. So it's like a venue thing as well.
Yeah. So 10 dates, they make £50,000 or £100,000 or whatever it is, and it's like, well, we don't need to do any more than 10 dates.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're going to pay for anything when they get there anyway.
No,
because their record company will
pay
for it. Their management will pay for it, and very much as and also your Interpol, like all your clothes are probably from. From, I don't know.
Designers and whatnot.
They are some smart dressed people.
Yeah, very smart, very smart.
But I don't really know how it works anymore. I'm sure somebody does.
When you look at headliners for festivals and stuff, it's those same bands, isn't it? Like,
it is.
It's so Kasabian. I just looked at who was headlining Reading, right? Kasabian, Eminem. it was Muse, and then you go back Chili Peppers, Biffy Clyro, Green Day, Kings of Leon. It's Metallica.
Oh,
It's supposed saying 15 odd bands, right?
Yeah.
That are doing all of the headliners year in, year out now.
Mhm.
I just wonder who's going to be taking over those spots going
Foo
forward.
Fighters as well. You could probably
Yeah,
throw
Foo
in that
Fighters,
list,
I guess. Yeah. Bands,
There's probably bands we don't even know.
yeah, but bands aren't making.
Oh,
that
Royal Blood. Actually, Royal Blood are probably new.
Okay.
They're probably up there right now.
Oh, I don't know.
Again,
I don't know, mate.
somebody else tell us what's happening.
Yeah, I just wonder what music's going to look like in another 10 years when these bands stop touring.
Yeah.
Right? Who's going to have picked up that slack? Who's big enough to take on those spots? Because bands aren't getting as big as they used to because there's not as much money involved anymore.
Yeah.
Because everyone just
That's fair.
downloads the music
But
for free.
oh, what do you mean? Oh, it's relative though, isn't it? It's like when you say big, what do you mean big? Do you mean like big, like we think a big band is?
Yeah,
because that doesn't mean that the same fans of like Royal Blood don't have the same kind of devotion to
No,
old bands.
absolutely
So
no.
they will still turn out. They still will be the big band,
Yeah.
but maybe the attendance isn't what you would have seen.
That's right. Yeah,
10
the
years
attendance
ago.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So like obviously a band like Foo Fighters, say,
Uh-huh.
is gonna everyone is gonna go and see the Foo Fighters. They're gonna fill a field.
They're very good live.
Yeah, but say a Royal Blood. I don't know much about the Royal Bloods, but I guess they're like a new.
The Royal Bloods.
They're like a modern big band, right?
Yeah.
Are they gonna fill a field in Glastonbury in 5 years' time?
Nah, it'd be Dolly Parton again, wouldn't it?
It'll just be
It will
Metallica. Metallica will
It'd be
be
Tina
back.
Turner, Dolly Parton,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Paul McCartney.
It's the same names, right?
It is.
So it'd be. I just think it'd be interesting in a few years' time what a festival might look like. I think it'll just get smaller, maybe.
I think there's definitely more festivals now.
Yeah.
So maybe it'd be a case that the big ones, like your Download, like Reading,
Yeah.
and Glasgow.
Glastonbury.
Well, Glasgow doesn't even run every year now.
No.
Has it ever run every year?
I've never been to Glastonbury. I think they do a couple and then skip one.
Yeah. So it might get to a point where these big festivals, because these big bands aren't around anymore.
Yeah,
James Hetfield's 80 or
Yes.
whatever. Like he don't want to do it.
Exactly.
No, he's 60. He's in his mid-50s at least.
Yeah.
But like they're going to have to scale down.
They will. Yeah.
They're going to have to because the bands aren't the same.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the bands that are going to have the problem or the fan base. It's going to be the organisers
Yeah.
who are going to have the issue,
Yeah.
and they're also going to have the financial issue as well.
Yeah.
Because as like the economy moves, what was £10,000 for Metallica is now like £100,000.
Oh right. Yeah.
And Royal Blood, well, we're going to guarantee like X amount of sales.
right.
And you'll probably end up having to pay the same money because everything's just sort of moving and evolving.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm saying, to be honest. I'm kind of rambling, but I think bigger festivals will have to get smaller.
Yeah.
They will. How else are you going to? It's not a business model you can
No,
continue with, is
that's
it?
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
As time goes on, things are changing. They've changed so rapidly.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's the backfill as the bigger bands drop off.
It's like you people on YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
who
yeah.
have YouTube channels. They've got like
Okay.
15 million subscribers.
Oh, God.
And all he does is like, what's his name? I think he's just like a makeup guy. Just shows you how to apply makeup. And he's got like 1.5 million or 15 million subscribers.
Really?
And it's like, well, and then let's say a band has 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube.
Right, yeah.
It's like, well, how does that?
What does that translate to
How
if
does
you
that?
put it in a festival?
If you put it in a physical space.
Yeah. How many of those people are going to
It's weird,
pay?
isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's scary.
We sound
Freaking myself out a little bit.
We sound like old men just going, things were better in my day, and we don't know what's
That's
happening.
exactly what this podcast is.
Which is what we've come full circle, and that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, it is literally.
We've
I used to love
confused
these things before I was 30.
Now we don't know what's happening.
And now, yeah, exactly. Oh, what's the Simpsons quote?
We've confused and upset ourselves. I used to be with it.
Yeah, and then they changed what
It
it was,
was.
and now I don't know what it is, and it's scary.
You were scary to me.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it Grandpa Simpson?
Yeah, Grandpa.
I used to be with it.
Yeah. Which is what we were, right?
Yeah.
And now we don't know what's happening. All of our favourite albums are 10 years old. The festivals
15
we used to
years
go to aren't going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
We don't know what Jimmy Bieber did for the last 6 years.
How did he do it?
How did he do it? And
Good work, though.
yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just all go and see Justin Bieber
Who's
instead.
the last headliners for Reading? Was it what you said?
That was, I think it was Kasabian and Eminem and Muse.
Are Kasabian big? Like now?
Yeah. But they
Eminem's massive. That's
Eminem's
massive.
huge. He's always been big, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Kasabian been going for years and years and years. They're an older band now.
Yeah.
It must be like 10 years or something.
Huh.
So we've confused and upset ourselves, and
now we're going to go away.
now we're going to go and do some more.
Go away and listen to those 15 albums.
But we won't, because we won't have any time. We're going to meet up next time.
I'm going to drive to Higham now, so I'll probably put one on. Maybe.
We'll meet up next time.
I've got it in CD format as well. You know what? Actually, here's the thing, right? I have CDs.
Okay. Yeah.
I have CDs.
Yeah.
But such is the way that the world has changed.
Yeah.
I don't even have them out anymore.
Do you even have a CD player?
No.
No. This is the thing. So I've got boxes of CDs in my shed, and I don't have a CD player.
In your shed?
In my shed.
Well, don't
Yeah, I'm a proper old man. No,
because you got a shed.
I've got a shed with a lawnmower. I ain't got a lawn. But yeah, boxes of
Just
CDs.
doing to trim the hedges, swinging it.
I just like having it.
Yeah. They're all in that chest over there in like the front room.
Okay.
And nope.
No.
Even DVDs.
Okay.
What the fuck am I going to do with them?
Yeah.
Well, that's TV and film.
That's a segue for maybe the next episode.
Maybe the next episode. Yeah. Thank you for listening to us ramble. If you have, for the last hour and 40 minutes.
Wow, that was long.
And also quick.
Yeah.
Because we had fun.
We had fun. And we were old and we can't even remember what we talked about.
Yeah.
So it seemed like a long...
Yeah. So stay tuned for the second episode of... What did we decide to call this?
I can't remember. I'm too old.
All my
friends are dead.
All my friends are dead.
All my friends are dead.
Cool.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Well, you won't see us. Will we?
We'll see.
We could maybe YouTube this.
It's the internet. They can see us. They got hidden cameras.
We can see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.